Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends of CONVOCO, welcome to the 2024 CONVOCO Forum. Our topic this year is how can we create a free, just, and sustainable world? This year's forum is a very special one because we are celebrating 20 years of CONVOCO. This fills me with pride, but above all, I feel enormous gratitude. Let's take a quick look back together. CONVOCO was founded in 2004. 2004. What did the world look like back then? The first internet bubble had burst, and we were confronted with the events of 9/11. Both events indicated that certain assumptions of the late 20th century were no longer valid. We were ushering in a new century and a new millennium. The first few years still felt like the late 1990s. But there were signs that things would be different in the future. That's why I wanted to create a new format. And with this format, I wanted to reach people who firmly believe in the potential of debate and the exchange of knowledge. Freedom, the basis of our coexistence, cannot be delegated to institutions. We have to become personally involved. Passivity makes freedom vulnerable. The aim was to bring together people, thoughts, and ideas. So I named my initiative CONVOCO, which is the Latin word for I convene. We wanted to bring together different fields: academia with business, politics, the media, and the arts. The plan was to discuss a different topic every year in an interdisciplinary way. Bringing people together and bringing ideas together from different disciplines enables new kinds of thinking, and it showcases unexpected journeys. Innovative approaches. By crossing the borders, we can create innovative approaches. Above all, I wanted to give academic scholarship a stronger voice. For me, academia is important to understand how well-being can be achieved for society. The original idea was to discuss topics related to constitutional law, society, and their future. Law was the main focus. This was also inspired by my own background, and it's why we chose Herrenchiemsee as the location for our meetings. This is where the German Constitution was debated in 1948. The topic of our first meeting was Social Justice, a program for the 21st century. At Herrenchiemsee is a very special place. You can only get there and reach this island by boat. After a while, Herrenchiemsee became too small as a conference venue, so we looked for another location. I didn't want to take CONVOCO to a big city like Munich or Berlin. CONVOCO should take place in a location where the group of participants and our guests could focus without distraction. Salzburg seemed to be an ideal place. With the Salzburg Festival, its culture of bringing people together, a beautiful natural setting, its airport, and its good range of hotels. Of course, Salzburg is also my home. So, since 2010, Salzburg has been CONVOCO's home. Over the past 2 decades, we have succeeded in building something sustainable. Our network has grown into a group of friends. We've built up a group of regular participants and guests. As a group, we have become more international, diverse, and balanced. Our topics have also evolved over time. While the emphasis was initially on constitutional law, CONVOCO now addresses a broader spectrum of issues. The focus lies in society and its future. The background to this approach is that the law can only be applied through its rulings. Only then can law be applied. And of course, this is all influenced by economics, history, and philosophy. Starting from the principle of justice, over the last 20 years, we have discussed liberal values and concepts. CONVOCO's topics have always gone beyond day-to-day politics. The annual topics include the market economy, the common good, the question of power, and the issue of strategic inaction. Our perspective is European, but it is always in a global context. CONVOCO highlights developments and new constellations. CONVOCO provides fundamental knowledge about our liberal world, together with the knowledge we need to navigate through it. The question of where the world is heading is the focus of all of our discussions. CONVOCO encourages us to appreciate new perspectives. Without wanting to sound prophetic, CONVOCO is taking traditional knowledge into a new era, interpreting it differently and in a groundbreaking manner. In a way, our topic in 2024, how can we create a free, just, and sustainable world? This brings together much of what has been discussed over the past 20 years. It's where the ideas about the common good, freedom, and equality, as well as strategies and uncertainties, come together. At the same time, this topic gives us the opportunity to think about what a just, sustainable society will look like in the future. It should be about the concrete ways we determine our lives. The time for appeals and wishes is over. What does the world look like in the early 21st century? Today's world is the result of the collapse of the Soviet Union. This has not only disrupted the stability of Eastern Europe, the stability of the West has also developed fault lines. This loss of stability goes hand in hand with the economic rise of China and the strengthening of the global South. We are in a new period of competition. And at the same time, in an age of heightened dependencies and transnational challenges, such as climate change. Initially, it was thought that these transnational challenges would unite the world, but it's now clear that they are more likely to divide it. For example, the Global South's perspective on global change is very different from that of the North. What are the factors that create a free, just, and sustainable world? There are two essential factors: peace and stability, and a healthy natural environment. These are the cornerstones, and they are also interdependent. As we all know, at the moment, both are severely threatened. In addition to these two major areas, there is now a third aspect, a new aspect. We must meet the challenge posed by technology in the form of artificial intelligence. With regard to the latter, it's important to note that even AI is not some kind of superintelligence that will save humankind. We must use it so that it becomes a tool for humankind. Humankind must learn to work in concert with AI. Peace, a healthy environment, and a form of technology that serves humankind. Together, these three topics form the foundation of a free, just, and sustainable world. But still, that does not answer today's question. How can we create a free, just, and sustainable world? The term in German in the title of the form today, lebbar, is very difficult to interpret, so we've translated it with three adjectives: free, just, and sustainable. But these are only examples, and they are not exhaustive. How can we create a free, just, and sustainable world? Above all, this list should be expanded to include the terms open, prosperous, and secure. In other words, open, prosperous in the society, and above all, security. For centuries, achieving this has been the aim. Over the course of history, attempts to improve the world have always been made, and attempts to create a new kind of human being. It has a long tradition. In Europe, the first attempt appeared in the 18th century with Denis Diderot's encyclopedia, in which he tried to compile the world's knowledge and make it accessible to all of Europe. But, ladies and gentlemen, as we know from Better from Control, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The French Revolution wanted to improve human coexistence through liberty, equality, and fraternity, but it ended in the horrors of terror. This was followed in 1804 by Napoleon's Code Civil, which tried to enforce the ideas of equality and liberty using the law. In Germany, it was the 1848 revolution leading to the Frankfurt Constitution, the Constitution in the St. Paul's Church. In the 20th century, the Russian Revolution in 1917 was supposed to bring about major egalitarian change. We all know how that ended. The inhuman ideologies of communism and National Socialism represent attempts to create a different society, but instead brought physical and moral destruction. All of these approaches show that it's easier to want to change the world than to actually change it. And even today, unfortunately, we have to face up to the truth that the green transformation is finding it very hard to get off the ground. Already it seems that we won't achieve the goals we have set to stop climate change. What conclusions should we draw? What do we have to acknowledge? Each and every individual exists only in terms of relationships. I exist only through my relationship with others. Since this has been recognized since Einstein's theory of relativity. Today, it's about implementing this insight within society. Identifying these relationships is also one of CONVOCO's great strengths. It's about acknowledging the fact that we exist only in the context of the natural world. It's about acknowledging the laws set by nature, the laws of physics, biochemistry, and the social sciences. The task of academia and science is to identify these laws. Society must learn to live according to these laws. Only then can human existence be guaranteed. Ladies and gentlemen, I am looking forward to our discussions. 20 years of exchanging ideas has brought us to this point. Together, let us build a bridge to the future. And in beginning our discussions, I would like to offer a very warm welcome to Professor Gernot Wagner.